I, 16-year-old male, lost my sister Birdie last year. Birdie was 20 years old when she died. She had been diagnosed with cancer a year before her death. She knew she was dying, so she made a will for the very few things she had. It was mostly sentimental childhood stuff she had. Old stuffed animals, and she had a necklace that our dad bought her. Stuff like that. It wasn't a lot, but she left it all to me. She also wrote a letter to me before she died. But anyway, I was the only person who got anything from Birdie. She left our paternal grandparents in charge of everything until I'm 18 or until I'm out of Mum's house. The problem with this is Mum has other kids. Birdie and I lost our dad when we were both kids. Mum remarried. Neither of us really cared much for Mum's husband, and when Mum had more kids, we didn't feel the same about them as we did each other. Birdie was more vocal while I didn't say anything. Mostly I didn't want to fight with Mum over it, and I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but Birdie and Mum never really got along, and it was only worse after Dad died and then Mum remarried. The fact Birdie left nothing for our half-siblings and never even wrote them a goodbye letter bothers Mum, and it really upset them because they wanted to know why she wrote to me and left me her stuff, but not them. They wanted to read my letter, but I said no. It became a fight with Mum then, and she wanted to know why Birdie left the rest of the family nothing, and why even when she knew she was dying, she couldn't find a way to embrace the other kids enough to give them something, a small goodbye. I showed Mum the letter because Birdie wrote a lot about her feelings and mentioned things she and I talked about when Mum wasn't around. I knew the letter would be a lot. Birdie said clearly she never loved or cared about the other kids at all and wanted me to know that she didn't want them to have anything. But if I felt differently, if I ended up loving them one day and wanted to give them something of hers, that she wouldn't be mad. Mum read the whole thing twice, if not 3 times, and then she asked me why I had shown her the letter and what did I want to do with it. She was so mad she was shaking, and she told me I was never to show my half-siblings, and I pointed out I had said no to them reading it already. Nothing else was said that day, but then Mum told me I was cruel for rubbing my sister's words in her face, and she wanted me to know she might never be able to forgive me for it. She told me forgiveness would be off the table if I ever breathed a word of it to her other kids. Am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot, I'm so sorry for your loss. It's not your fault that your mum read the letter. She nagged you to know why Birdie didn't leave them anything. She didn't like the answer you gave her. You're only 16. I'm sorry your mother said she might not ever forgive you for it. I feel so bad for you. You lost someone you truly loved, someone who understood you. Your mum should not have said those things. I hope she doesn't mean it. Don't show the letter to any of your step-siblings. I think your mum is clearly oblivious to how you and your sister feel. As a mother, it is her job to check in on you, make sure you feel emotionally safe and loved, and to help you work through your feelings. She isn't doing that clearly. You should talk to her about how you feel about your relationship with her after you lost your dad, why you feel the way you feel about your new family, why your sister felt that way. Tell her how hurt you are by the fact that she believes it's your fault for showing her the letter. She wanted to know. You tried to hide it. You are only 16. You have gone through a terrible loss. Open up to any trusted family you have. Grandparents, uncles and aunts about this situation if you are comfortable. They may be able to guide your mum. Love and support. Comment 2. Not the idiot. She asked and didn't like the answer. That answer was not yours, it was Birdie's, and in her own words. I'm sure it stung like hell. But, she asked, it is not right or fair for her to be mad at you for giving her what she wanted. Birdie had the right to do with her stuff what she wanted. It would be best not to ever show the letter to the others, unless they push you into it. My guess would be that they are going to, at some point, be jealous if there is any real money waiting for you and not them. If you don't have to hurt them, then don't if possible. Hide that letter very well and take a pic of it and email it to yourself for safekeeping. Good luck. Comment 3. The fact Birdie left nothing for our half-siblings and never even wrote them a goodbye letter bothers Mum, and it really upset them because they wanted to know why she wrote to me and left me her stuff but not them. They wanted to read my letter but I said no. And gut. It became a fight with Mum then, and she wanted to know why Birdie left the rest of the family nothing, and why even when she knew she was dying she couldn't find a way to embrace the other kids enough to give them something. A small goodbye. Not the idiot. She wanted to know so bad, and now she does. She probably should have thought that through a little more and is TA for getting upset with you. Now for the update. So it's been a wild couple of weeks since I last posted about the situation with my sister Birdie's letter and her will. I never expected things to escalate the way they did, but here we are. After everything blew up with my mum, things got really tense at home. My step-siblings were giving me the cold shoulder, and my mum was still upset about the letter. She even suggested that I might have forged it to hurt them, which stung a lot. But then, out of the blue, my aunt, my mum's sister, showed up. I hadn't seen her in years, and had no idea she was even in town. Turns out my aunt had caught wind of the drama, and came to set the record straight. She sat us all down and dropped a bombshell. Birdie had actually written letters to my step-siblings too. But she had given them to my aunt for safekeeping, asking her to wait for the right time to hand them over. My mum was shocked and asked why Birdie would do that. My aunt explained that Birdie didn't want them to feel obligated to respond or act a certain way while she was still around. She wanted them to have a piece of her that was just theirs without any pressure. Apparently Birdie had also left a private note for my mum with the letters explaining all of this. When my step-siblings read their letters, it was like a floodgate opened. There were tears, apologies, and a lot of raw emotions. The letters were so very Birdie. Funny, kind, and brutally honest. She told them she loved them in her own way, even if they hadn't been close. She encouraged them to live their lives fully, without any regrets or what-ifs. And then, just when we thought we'd started to heal, another twist hit us. A local news outlet somehow got wind of Birdie's story, and they wanted to do a feature on her life and her impact on us. They'd heard about her community work and how she'd been such a support system for other kids with cancer. At first we were all wary, but we eventually agreed, hoping it might help other families going through similar situations. The response was insane. People from all over started sending in messages of support and sharing their own stories. It turned into this massive outpouring of love for a sister I already knew was incredible. The craziest part, though, an anonymous donor reached out to the news station and offered to set up a scholarship fund in Birdie's name for students who have battled cancer. I couldn't believe it. Birdie would have been over the moon. So yeah, these 2 weeks have been a roller coaster. I went from feeling like the family pariah to seeing Birdie's legacy bloom in ways I couldn't have imagined. It doesn't fix everything and there's still a lot of healing to do, but it feels like we're on a better path now. I guess sometimes it takes a storm to clear the air. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's clear from your recounting of the events that the situation with Birdie's letters was emotionally charged for everyone involved. It's understandable that your family's response to the letters might have been mixed, especially given the intimate nature of such a message. However, you haven't done anything to intentionally harm or disrespect anyone's feelings. It seems that the letters brought up unresolved emotions, and perhaps issues within your family dynamic that were previously unaddressed. It's commendable that you and your step-siblings have managed to navigate this emotional minefield with sensitivity. Moreover, the fact that a scholarship fund has been set up in Birdie's name and there's been an outpouring of support indicates that this situation has led to a positive outcome, despite the initial conflict. Your reflection and hope for the future suggest that you are looking to move forward and honour Birdie's memory in a constructive way. In situations like these, it's important to remember that everyone processes grief and surprise differently, and as long as you are respectful and considerate of your step-siblings' feelings, you are not the jerk. Comment 2. Not the idiot. From what you've shared, it seems that the aunt's decision to intervene by revealing the existence of letters to the step-siblings was a critical moment. While the aunt's actions could be seen as interfering, it appears they were done with the intent to honour Birdie's wishes and to share a part of her with everyone she cared about. You, as the narrator, took no part in deciding when or how these letters were distributed, which absolves you of any blame in the resulting emotional upheaval. The subsequent media attention and the establishment of a scholarship in Birdie's name represent a silver lining to what was undoubtedly a painful family event. If your narrative is focused on the future and the good that has come from honouring Birdie's memory, then it stands to reason that your intentions are pure and you are working towards healing. Acknowledging the emotional impact on your step-siblings and supporting them through this time is the ethical approach, and it seems that is what you are trying to do. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Your story illustrates a complex family situation where emotions are understandably heightened due to the sensitive nature of Birdie's letters. One crucial aspect that should not be overlooked is the importance of respecting Birdie's legacy, and how these letters were her way of reaching out beyond her time with you all. Your positive outlook despite the initial conflict shows maturity and a willingness to focus on the good that can come from such a situation. Furthermore, the interest from a news outlet and the resulting feature on Birdie's life have not only spread awareness, but also helped to commemorate her life in a meaningful way. This has allowed for a broader community to engage in a collective memory of Birdie, which is a powerful and healing process. The scholarship fund set up in her name will serve as a lasting tribute to her impact and help others in a way that aligns with her values. Your hopefulness suggests that you are invested in preserving Birdie's memory and using this as an opportunity for growth and connection, rather than letting it drive a wedge through your family. This demonstrates an ethical approach to dealing with family conflicts and a logical perspective on moving forward after loss. Now for the next story. My daughter is 20 years old and in college. She has a dorm on campus, but she doesn't live there. I love my daughter, but she can be a lot. Drama follows her everywhere, and I was hoping she would grow out of it, but it never happened. Due to this, she has gone through multiple friend groups, and as she puts it, they are jealous, so she doesn't have college friends. Now, I married when she turned 18. I was never married, and her biological mum wasn't in the picture. So this was an adjustment, but I want to make it clear I took the right steps. I introduced them when I was serious, 2 years in. I spent more time with her. I didn't force them together. We made boundaries for my wife, like punishment comes to me, not her. When she was struggling, I got her into therapy and did sessions with her. She stopped when she hit 18 since I can't make her go. My daughter is making it impossible for them to get along. If my wife tells her food is ready, she gets pissed that she's bothering her. If she doesn't tell her, then she's pissed that she wasn't invited. It's contradiction after contradiction. I have talked to her, my wife has tried to do what she asked, and then she's pissed she did that. It's impossible. Now to the main issue. My wife's birthday was yesterday. I put out her presents and cake on the table. I had work, so I left it. I came back and all her presents were opened and my daughter was eating a piece of cake. I asked why the hell she would do that. She told me she doesn't deserve birthday presents. This is when I had enough and told her if she hates her stepmum so much she can leave, that she has a dorm and I don't want to see her until she apologizes to me and my wife. She started crying and called me a jerk. I have been getting a lot of texts from her and I am doubting my decision. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot, I'm assuming this is your only child. It appears your daughter has some serious only child syndrome issues. Her behaviour is so over the top, immature. Wow, an apology is not enough. She needs to get herself back into counselling and AMP, get some help. She has some problems that you and AMP, your wife, are not equipped to deal with. Your daughter appears to have serious adjustment problems and AMP. Clearly she is lacking interpersonal skills. Ita, your wife is not the problem. Your daughter appears to have no ability to predict the consequences of her actions and AMP decisions. That is alarming. Do not allow her to manipulate you anymore. You're not doing her any favours by enabling her behaviour. Comment 2. She opened someone else's presents. She cut into an uncut birthday cake when no one else was there. This is straight up in your face jerk behaviour. If you tolerate it, you're setting up your daughter for a life of failure. She has to learn to behave in socially acceptable ways or spend her life alone. No wonder she has no friends. If she's in college, it might be too late already, but you absolutely have to do your job as a parent and let her know that she can't go around being a jerk to everyone around her and expect to be happy in life. Comment 3. Not the idiot. When I read Shabu has a dorm on campus but doesn't use it, I was like, WTF, what a colossal waste of money. And now I get it. She would be eaten alive behaving like she does in any other social situation and probably has. She ran home where she is allowed to continue being a shoot human with no consequence. At 20, with that stunt, her bags would be on the lawn in almost any other house. You are doing her no favours with the excessive understandingness. She's going to have a hard road ahead. Now for the update. After months of silence and a lot of self-reflection, I wanted to share something pretty incredible. My daughter reached out to me with an apology. Not the forced kind, or one laced with justifications, but a real, heartfelt, I've been doing some serious introspection kind of apology. She's been seeing a therapist at college, her own decision, and it's been transformative. Turns out she's been grappling with feelings of abandonment since the divorce and my remarriage. She saw my wife not as a stepmom trying to connect, but as a symbol of her own perceived losses. We agreed to family therapy, and it's been challenging but so rewarding. My wife, bless her, came with an open heart. No grudges, just hope. We've had sessions where we just listened, really listened, to each other. It's been tough, not going to lie, but last week, my daughter asked if she could plan a redo birthday celebration for my wife. You could have heard a pin drop. We were all stunned. The party was actually a small dinner, just the three of us. My daughter baked a cake, from scratch, mind you, and handed my wife a thoughtful, handwritten card. She even saved up to replace one of the gifts she'd opened months back. There were tears from all of us. It wasn't just about the gifts, it was the symbol of change, of healing. They're not best friends overnight. That's not how life works. But there's laughter in our house again. There's patience. There's effort from both sides. We're planning to have a family game night once a month. My daughter suggested it as a way to build new memories together. I can't predict the future, but for the first time in a long time, I'm hopeful. There's a long road ahead, but we're on it together, and that's what counts. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's heartwarming to see a family come together to address past hurt and make proactive steps towards healing. Your daughter's initiative to apologise and acknowledge her feelings of abandonment is not only brave but a testament to her growth. The fact that she's been seeing a therapist and actively working on herself is commendable. It's also great that the entire family is willing to undergo family therapy. This shows a unified front in addressing issues and improving relationships within the family. The effort your daughter put into celebrating her stepmother's birthday is a beautiful gesture of peace and reconciliation. Regular family game nights are a fantastic way to foster a fun and relaxed environment where everyone can continue to bond and create new, positive memories. The path to rebuilding relationships and trust is never easy, but with patience and commitment from all sides, it's definitely possible. The fact that you are hopeful is a good sign that things are moving in the right direction. Comment 2. Not the idiot. The story you've shared is a poignant reminder of the complexities that come with blended families and the long-term effects of divorce on children. Your daughter's silence must have been difficult for everyone, but it seems like it was a necessary time for her to reflect and begin her healing journey. The decision to go to family therapy is a significant step in the right direction, and it's important to acknowledge that therapy is not a quick fix, but a process that requires dedication and vulnerability from all parties involved. Your daughter's gesture of baking a cake and writing a heartfelt card to her stepmother is a powerful symbol of her willingness to move forward and mend the relationship. It's especially meaningful given the history and her previous feelings of abandonment. The fact that the family is not pushing for instant perfect harmony, but is instead focusing on patience and effort, is a realistic and healthy approach. Establishing regular family game nights is an excellent way to keep the communication channels open and allows for organic growth in the relationships. Your hopefulness is a positive sign, and it's essential to celebrate the small victories along the way. Comment 3. Not the idiot. The maturity and self-awareness your daughter has shown by reaching out with an apology after recognizing her struggles through therapy is admirable. It takes a lot of courage to confront personal issues and even more to try and mend strained relationships. The fact that the family is now engaging in family therapy indicates a strong commitment to understanding one another and working through past issues. It's also a solid approach to ensure that everyone's voice is heard and that the underlying issues are not just swept under the rug, but are dealt with constructively. The birthday celebration planned by your daughter for her stepmother is a significant milestone in your family's journey towards healing. Such acts of kindness and the willingness to make amends can have a profound impact on the dynamics of your family. The introduction of regular family game nights is an excellent initiative to keep building on this newfound foundation of communication and camaraderie. While there may still be challenges ahead, the progress made thus far is promising, and it's important to maintain this momentum. Your hopefulness reflects the positive changes that are taking place, and it's crucial to keep nurturing this environment of forgiveness and understanding. Now for the next story. My husband and I have 5 kids between us. He had 2 from a previous relationship, aged 9 and 13. I have one child who is 14 years old, and we have 2 children together, aged 3 and 6. Our 6-year-old is autistic. She is verbal, but she doesn't like strangers and doesn't talk to them. I was worried about taking her trick or treating, but I know she practiced at school, and we practiced the signs "candy, please" and "thank you." It was going well at first. Then she started to get tired. At one of our last houses, she didn't speak or sign. The woman was handing out goodie bags with king-size candy bars and stickers. She gave one to all of my kids except for my 6-year-old. She ran to me crying, and my 14-year-old told me that the woman didn't give her a bag because she wouldn't say trick or treat. I went up and explained that she's autistic and doesn't speak much, but the woman refused to give her anything unless she said trick or treat. After some back and forth, I made the kids give the bags back and we left. I texted a group chat with parents in my daughter's classes. Both general ed and special ed, gave them the address and explained what happened so they wouldn't have to deal with that with their kids. Word spread pretty quickly, so that house was not very popular last night except for some pranks. People even posted about her on Nextdoor. Now she's posting about me and my kids, and this whole thing is blown out of proportion. I was wondering if I was wrong for telling parents not to take their kids to her house. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. As an autistic person myself, I understand your thinking of wanting to warn others and give you kudos as a parent of an autistic kid. When I was a child, I was very non-verbal with strangers. Even into my early teen years, I only spoke through my parents, siblings, or close friends to strangers. At the doctor's office, ordering at restaurants, strangers on the street commenting on my appearance, etc. I always spoke through the ones I trusted. I've unfortunately had too many experiences in my childhood of people treating me differently because I wouldn't talk with them. They didn't care for the reasoning. They would just be rude. I've been called a brat, a liar, an attention seeker, a prude, etc. You stood up for your child nicely, explained the issue, and the woman was small-minded and ableist in her response. Also, ignore the comments saying you were out for revenge or spreading this to make that woman a social pariah. You didn't do that. You gave a word of warning to other parents who may have socially anxious kids, or as you stated, there were special ed parents too, kids with autism or other disabilities that could make that house a horrible experience for them. Nor did you make a group chat, but messaged in an already made one. You didn't make anyone post about it anywhere else or encourage people to prank her house. You were just looking out for the well-being of other kids and the stress it would cause them and their parents. Comment 2. Not the idiot tilde you didn't tell anybody to stay away from the house. You just gave a heads up of how someone treated a neurodivergent kid. People made their own decisions on whether or not to go to the house after receiving your information and request for support. I'm glad to see so many were supporting neurodivergent kids. We gave out full-size candy bars last night, and there were kids who were so excited they forgot to say trick or treat or thank you. Did I complain or make a fuss? No, I saw a couple of kids grabbing extras and it didn't bother me. It's Halloween and it's supposed to be fun. It's wonderful when kids are polite, but you also have to recognise that there are kids like your daughter and my son who sometimes can't do that, or who are just too excited by everything going on to remember all the social niceties. ETA. My apologies, I missed the very last line of the OP's post, was reading on my phone, but my point still stands in that people made their own decisions about going to the house after receiving the information from the OP. The OP didn't force anyone to stay away, and if the homeowner believes that the OP kept people away, she's very mistaken, as it was her own actions rightfully called out that kept people away. Comment 3. Not the idiot. People who are mean to kids because they're neurodivergent, or because they have disabilities, or even just because they're shy or don't jump through hoops on command deserve what they get. The ESHs here are so worried about her poor hurty feelings about being piled on. Well, she earned them with her behaviour, unlike the child she was cheerfully willing to single out and treat cruelly for the crime of having a disability. Maybe a little public shaming will teach her what she apparently lacks the heart to figure out on her own. There is no reason ever to single out and pick on a small child for being different. Now for the update. After that disheartening Halloween, I wasn't sure what to expect going forward, but I'm touched to share how our community responded. In the weeks that followed, something unexpected happened. It began with quiet knocks on our door, the local parents who'd heard about the incident showing up, not with pitchforks, but with understanding and offerings of candy for our daughter. They didn't just come to make amends for one person's ignorance, they came to show solidarity and support for inclusivity. Our sweet girl with her bright eyes communicated her thanks in her own special way, and each time it was met with warmth and genuine smiles. Even better, several parents openly expressed their desire to learn more about how to be inclusive of all children during holidays like Halloween. But the real twist came when the woman from that night, the one who had refused candy to our daughter, showed up at our doorstep. I'll admit I wasn't prepared to face her, but I'm glad I did. There were tears in her eyes as she apologised, saying she had never intended to exclude or hurt anyone. She revealed that the incident had prompted her own grandchildren to educate her on autism and kindness. Our daughter, in her own way, had opened up a conversation that changed this woman's perspective. Together with the neighbours, we started planning for the next Halloween. It was decided that we'd have a pre-Halloween meeting to make our neighbourhood more accessible and enjoyable for all kids, not just ours. The local library even hosted an event about autism awareness, where experts spoke and kids could learn about diversity and empathy through interactive activities. When Halloween rolled around again, our daughter was ready, and so was our neighbourhood. Houses had signs indicating they were a safe space for all trick-or-treaters, regardless of how they communicated or dressed. And the woman who had turned us away? She was one of the most enthusiastic participants, wearing a pin that said, "All kids welcome here." As the night unfolded, our daughter used her signs, but this time each candy, please, and thank you was met with cheers and encouragement. She even made a new friend, a boy from down the street who was also non-verbal. They held hands and walked from house to house together, a sight I'll cherish forever. This experience taught us that compassion and understanding can take root from the most unexpected places. It reinforced the belief that our community can grow, and that sometimes it takes just one story, one person willing to change, to foster that growth. I'm grateful to have witnessed such a beautiful transformation, not only in our neighbours but in the strength and joy of our incredible daughter. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. First and foremost, the ability of a community to rally together in the face of an unfortunate incident speaks volumes about its character and the values it holds dear. After the initial disappointing Halloween incident, it is heartening to see that rather than allow for division, the community chose to come together and turn a negative experience into a positive one. This story is a shining example of how understanding and education can lead to growth and inclusivity. Creating a safe space for all trick-or-treaters not only benefits those with disabilities like your non-verbal daughter, but also enriches the community as a whole. The apology from the woman who refused candy is a testament to the power of open dialogue and the willingness to learn from one's mistakes. This incident has opened the door for a much-needed conversation about inclusivity and has prompted actionable change, which is commendable. Comment 2. Not the idiot. The incident illustrates a key point about inclusivity. It often requires active effort and education to understand the varied needs of individuals within a community. The woman's change of heart, prompted by her grandchildren, is a crucial reminder that generational gaps in understanding can in fact be bridged through communication and empathy. It is also worth noting that inclusivity is not just about the physical act of handing out candy to all children, but also about creating an environment where everyone feels welcomed and celebrated. The cheers and encouragement your daughter received not only made her Halloween special, but also likely contributed to her making a new friend. Social connections between individuals with similar experiences can be incredibly empowering and beneficial, and the community's actions facilitated that. It's a step towards normalizing the inclusion of non-verbal individuals and other marginalized groups in community celebrations, which is a significant stride towards a more accepting society. Comment 3. Not the idiot. The response of the community to the initial incident showcases a profound capacity for collective empathy and proactive change. By planning for a more accessible Halloween, the community members are not only addressing a single incident, but are also setting a precedent for future events and holidays, which is an important aspect of building an inclusive community. Furthermore, inclusivity extends beyond just the act of giving out candy. It's about understanding and embracing different ways of communication and interaction. The fact that your daughter made a new friend who is also non-verbal is a poignant reminder that these events are about more than just treats. They're about forming bonds and shared experiences. The community's actions have likely provided a sense of belonging and joy, not only to the children affected by the initial incident, but also to their families and other community members who may feel marginalized. This whole experience serves as an instructive model for other communities to follow. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.